this is not a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Were there specific places that you have been in the past that you felt like were going to be an inspiration for you when putting this together?
I think throughout all explorations in which we've been living life, you're pulling things in, or you're paying attention to things that you really like, or spaces that make you feel good, or people that make you feel good. And we tried to capture some of that. So
yeah, this is we like to say it's like a patchwork quilt of every place we went prior to opening. And even since then, we continue to go places and bring ideas back to the table and reinvent and, much to Kyle's chagrin, probably rearrange certain things based on experiences and growth and how the market's changing. But in our original concept, in the original tap room that we're sitting in now, and then including our expansion, we pulled in elements of places that we really loved, including things that we really loved about the service at places we got. So it wasn't just about the aesthetic. Certainly that played a hand in it because we didn't see that at the time in Kansas City. And so obviously the plants play into that somewhat, but certainly about how people feel when they're in the space. We really wanted to carve that out because we remember how we felt in certain of our favorite places in Fort Collins and beyond. So that, again, it's a patchwork of all those places and trying to keep out the places that or the elements that maybe we weren't so fond of.
Right. And so, I mean, you can't. So the plants, obviously, they jump out at you. But the other thing is the artwork in here. Mm-hmm. And that's you?
it is, yeah.
I mean, so has art always been a passion of yours? I mean...
Sure, I was an art major, yeah.
Okay.
So I graduated from KU with a fine arts degree and took that into graphic design so you could actually get paid for a job or do a job. And so we really do strive to be able to buy other people's artwork. Right now, we're still grinding, so it's what I can...
Is most of this original yours?
All of it.
All of it. God, I love it. So my question, and so I was in here Sunday with a friend of mine, and I was looking around, and I started walking around looking at the paintings because I had understood that you did most of this. Mm-hmm. Is there like a signature in any of this stuff? Like, you know what I mean?
It's on the back. Yeah.
It's on the back. Yeah. All right. Because I was like, I'm going to figure out what it was. And I was walking around and I just could not find, other than like maybe animals, maybe a bear here or there.
Right.
But, okay. Yeah. Okay. So is it animals specifically that you enjoy in terms of like art? Because it seems like that's what, I mean, obviously Casual Animal.
Yeah. I think that just kind of serendipitously happened.
Yeah.
A lot of my paintings involve some kind of animal, and then we created this brewery called Casual Animal, and hey, we can take these from our basement. And this one of the buffalo and the woman came from my mom's living room. She was very upset about that to this day.
To this day.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so where did the name Casual Animal come from? I mean, what was the inspiration for that?
Laid back beers that tap into your wild side. So the laid back part is the casual. A couple beers might be the animal part. So
Get a little wild.
Yeah, get a little wild.
Did you have the slogan first, or did you have the name first?
Name first.
Okay.
They came together pretty quickly. We, the name game is really hard because you have a lot of trademarking issues to work through as well. But yeah, we feel fortunate that we landed on that because it has created multiple opportunities to, create a space surrounding the name.
Yeah, does it put some additional pressure on you though when you as you're brewing beers and coming up with different like recipes? Because I understand that each one of these brews effectively has artwork to go with it.
It does. Sometimes there's that. The beer's almost ready. The artwork's not ready. Let's get the hustle going here so we can have something somebody can order.
Yeah. So is it beer first, then art, or does it ever work the other way around?
It kind of works in concert. So a name can really spur on what that might be. We are currently working on a collaboration with Stockyards Brewing, and one of their brewers, he's a hilarious guy. He's a drummer, talented. He's like, what if we call it Walkie Talkie Sasquatchy? So then there's three.
I think that's very catchy. I think that's
right.
Great.
And so then there's multiple elements there to springboard into what the art might be. And how that might influence the beer as well. So in that particular case, the name came first.
That's okay.
Name came first, and then how we developed the whole recipe and art comes after.
I would think with that name, like that would like actually sort of help inspire like dialing in the specific kind of like recipe and the vibe of the drink itself.
Absolutely did.
And so you mentioned the collaboration, and so the podcast I was watching that you were on, you had a quote that made me laugh, and it was basically like KC Beer is 99% asshole free.
Oh,
and so I don't know if you remember that, but like the spirit of collaboration between brewers, I mean, how has that kind of fueled you in this whole project?
I mean, you're in the industry too now. What do you think? I think it's still 98%.
Oh no, we're changing our numbers.
You don't have to name names.
No,
but
no.
I can adjust the percentage based on who lets me go in to do my podcast.
There you
Right,
go.
there you go.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, we both had full-time jobs outside of this before he, opened the original space, and I was still working corporate. And I mean, truly, I don't think either of us have worked in an industry quite like this, where you can be quote unquote competitors, but really you're just friends. And within that, it's more camaraderie than competition. Like, damn, this beer is great, you know, and so good for you, but dang it, it's hard to compete with. And so it just kind of keeps edging each other on and trying to stay ahead of the curve. And it helps with communicating and troubleshooting. And I think that's, even in our area where we're in now with the East Crossroads community and, the number of breweries and distilleries around here, there's a lot of collaboration. There's a lot of sharing in terms of troubleshooting with staffing. There's troubleshooting with ingredients, with flavor profiles. When KC Wineworks was down the way, we tapped into some of their expertise on some of the things we were working on. We've shared grain and vice versa, had to borrow grain, and it's just very communal. Yeah. And I don't think, I know for myself specifically, I've never worked in an industry like that. It's usually, you're really just trying to outwork the competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how, and I've experienced this recently in my business, is you can sort of choose to be collaborative, you can sort of choose to be competitive. Everybody obviously, you want people to choose your beers, but, if you're in a situation where, your competitor has a better beer, well, the worst case is that you've now found a really good beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned the Crossroads. So, there's been, to me, I've been in Kansas City for like 25 years, but I just really wasn't in the city until the last like few years. And I've made a point of being in these spaces, and just what I see in the Crossroads in terms of like the development and the changes here. Do you feel like, how has the Crossroads itself, how has it sort of shaped, Casual Animal? Some of the changes that have gone on in the community, or has it been the other way around?
There's definitely influence from the Crossroads. It's the art district. It's inherently cool, inherently chock full of interesting people that are doing authentic things, and that is so cool.
Yeah.
I think you said it. You said it best. If you look around, and if somebody's coming to Kansas City and looking for a truly local experience, where everybody is independently owned and operated, they have brought a unique concept to light, and their spaces are all unique in that way, and you can walk between them. You can't find that anywhere else in Kansas City. Yeah. And that growth, and I think where we are now, there's plenty of room to continue to grow, but it's certainly, attracting other as and developers, some bigger than others, to the area. I think for that reason, because we've done such a good job of carving out as a local small business community those authentic experiences. To Kyle's point.
Yeah. What does the Crossroads need as a community? To me, when I look around, there's a lot of development going on here. It is a destination. It's funny, a little bit ago, I tell you, get amped up. And so before we started this, I was like walking around. Have you ever seen JFK the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, that
the
scene?
Magic Bullet. Okay.
Huh?
Oh, I was going to say the Magic Bullet, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, but there's a scene in JFK where they're like walking around. I think they're downtown New Orleans, and one of the guys is like, there's the FBI. there's like naval intelligence, and it's like this is like a hotbed of like military intelligence. And so I was walking around, and I'm like, there's coffee shop, there's a brewery, and it feels like this has become a very similar thing to it. It's an entertainment district. And it doesn't, to me, when I'm down here, it doesn't feel like a touristy district. It feels like a local district where a lot of people in the community are here.
Yeah, I get that. There's some definite grit, and that just is Kansas City maybe, but it's a little bit gritty and it's raw, it's real. That part is cool, and you feel like you're discovering. I think people come down here and they're like, oh, wow. You go around this corner and bam, there's this distillery. Didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
And a brewery's up the street. And I was just at my favorite one. I didn't even know that place was there. You're like, the sense of discovery is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's great. You can walk around Kansas City. So we're going to have, I don't know if you're familiar with KC Urban Hikes, but Lisa's going to be on an episode here that we're going to shoot in a couple hours. And there's just so much in the urban core, I think, that you can find so much to do. Mm-hmm. I think, and again, it's a passion of mine now that I'm actually in the city, and it's interesting to sort of see all that it has to offer. And so, when you travel, when you go around to different parts of the country, or if you travel, what are things that you are seeing out there that you think are kind of inspiring that you'd like to bring back to Kansas City?
Well, we definitely chase down beers anywhere we go. Go ahead.
Why beer, by the way?
Love beer.
But I mean, like, why was it like? What was the inspiration for like a brewery? Like,
That's what we know from Colorado.
Okay.
And love from Colorado.
Yeah, definitely. And the opportunities here. But when I was at KU, I worked at Free State. That drives a memorable steak.
Yeah.
I don't know what words I'm looking for here, but
a
very deep cut of like, this is fun and this is great and this is inherently cool for what it is. I mean, beer's kind of having a lull, but I think all alcoholic drinks are having a lull. But
why not Rumpelmints?
Right. You've clearly been to Free State. If you've been to Free State late.
I've listened to podcasts with you on it before.
Yeah. I think it was available, but it's fun and it's creative. And it's also scientific, so it's nice when there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
I mean, if the beer tastes like dog shit, then you're gonna know that. But otherwise,
So you started as a home brewer? Is that how you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so when he came to you and said, "Hey, I want to have a brewery," I mean, what was that process like for you?
I gave it a couple weeks. I thought it might be a phase.
Yeah. I think my wife does the same thing with me, so that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I was hoping it was a phase. And truly, we were just homesick for Colorado, when it would come time to get out of our tiny apartment at the time. And so I just kind of thought, maybe we'll find something that'll scratch the itch instead of us doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you didn't find it.
No, yeah. So he went through 2 weeks and still was very adamant about it. But I think for where we were in our lives, it was really important that we did it right if we were going to do it. And so I think in addition to the 2 weeks, there was a series of, I call them tests now, but it was really like things he had to check off the list to make sure that we were going to do it right. And one of the things was not to just be a home brewer that's scaling up. Not to say that you can't do that successfully, but I think we've seen too many examples in multiple states, cities that we visited where, the end result can be positive, but the learning curve is very challenging.
Yeah.
And since we were putting pretty much everything we had to our name on the line for it, I really wanted to make sure that he had some professional backing on it as well. And so I said, you got to look out for some other opportunity that teaches you how to use the big machinery and all that kind of stuff. And so he found the American Brewers Guild and went that direction, which was, I have zero regrets about that decision.
Yeah.
And then came back and we created our business plan, and in the works of him also being in school, we were doing the business plan, and then we had a tough time finding a space and getting the bank to follow through, and but then
those are all the real things.
Yeah. the beer is the fun part, but it's
Right.
all of the other things behind the scenes that are so complicated and make small business so challenging. And so it's always something to think about going in, because when you get to the finished product, yeah, people will come and be like, wow, this looks so fun. You know, I can't wait to work here because it looks awesome. And then you really tell people, it's like, beer is fun.
Yeah.
We also clean bathrooms here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you know, to me, it's an art, and it's something that you can be passionate about. Were you passionate about the lists that she made reference to of the things that needed to happen for you to? I mean, did you have like kind of like a clear eye? Because I'm a daydreamer.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be like, let's do this, and then like slowly my wife is going to start mentioning, hey, what about this? What about that? What about that? And it takes all the fun out of it.
Sure, it can.
Yeah.
But no, like diving deeper was even more exciting, because then you know, or you learn, knowing, I have a hard time saying that, or I hate the term brewmaster. I'm not near that either, but just diving deeper in a topic that you are really enthusiastic about and learning even more, it's amazing.
So, you know, from what I understand in projects like this, you know, there's a lot of people involved in the process that we don't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so were there people that were sort of formative supporters early on that helped make this possible?
I mean, yeah, nobody ever said no. The only person that was really checking it was Lara, who was my wife. And
it's probably her job. That's probably a healthy, yeah.
Good looking
Makes
out.
sense.
Yeah. But I do blame her as well. She, when we were trying to figure out what to do, she's like, here, read this $100 startup. Well, you know, a brewery's like $1 million startup.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's just scaling. It's the same concepts, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that you took this painting from your mom or from your mom. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, was family?
Love you, Mom.
Yeah. and a lot of times, you know, family like sort of get involved in this type of stuff. Is that what happened for you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the blood, sweat, and tears is just streaked with family in here. I mean, especially my brother-in-law, Kyle's brother, built everything from the ground up. His infrastructure help was unfathomable. His dad, helped significantly with the front patios and many, many things inside. Financial resources when we hit plumbing issues that were unforeseen in the original build out were critical. And we had friends that really wanted to jump in. I think for us as new small business operators, and I think just where we were in that stage, we had a lot of friends that were really excited. They could feel kind of the vibrations of excitement that specifically Kyle had. But I think we just kind of leveled at home and thought, if we're going to do this, it's going to put everything we have on the line. But I'd rather it just be us operating the kitchen versus, we don't have a kitchen, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Metaphorically, versus checking in with everyone. I'd really like our friends and our family just to stay our friends and family.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that overlap. And to this day, I think we're both grateful that we took that risk, because it could be a lot easier with investors and having, friends there. But at the same time, when the hard decisions come, it's nice to just check in with the core and just have each other.
Yeah. Well, and to me, everything in this place looks very intentional. Is that fair to say? I mean, like even these, so the stumps that you're sitting on, right? And so what's the origin of these stumps?
Yeah. A tree fell and we cut them in. It was nice. Again, the word serendipity, luck, 85% sweat and then 15% luck. And we made everything in here though. So we were talking to our insurance agent just on Monday, and he's like, we got to go over coverage again. I said, well, we don't have to worry about any of this stuff. We built all. If it burns up, we'll remake it.
Yeah, other trees are going to fall down. You'll figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I think and so you guys were initially over on this side, and then you made the decision to expand. Was the expansion always something like with your initial business plan, or was it something where an opportunity came along? Or
It was both, but it happened much quicker than we anticipated in our business plan. So we had to restructure earlier than we anticipated, certainly. I mean, it was serendipity.
Yeah.
Truly. I
We
mean,
got to find a new word.
No,
Yeah.
that's my favorite word.
Oh, okay.
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
It's such a lovely word because, you can have a business plan, but sometimes things sort of come together. Hopefully it comes together within the business plan, but yeah, so.
yeah, I mean, Kyle was taking out the trash, and I guess you could say we got lucky and
Yeah.
played our good neighbor cards right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people we were renting our parking from, their receptionist, she was having a smoke break. She's like, you know what's going on? I said, no. She's like, hey, these guys, they're going to retire. They're going to sell all these buildings that they have. You guys,
Yeah.
you should reach out if you're interested. I was like, holy, yeah, okay. So that was 2019. Got the ball rolling. The bank was kind enough to extend another loan to us,
Yeah.
and that's when COVID hit. And so we built out while most of the shutdown was happening. And then as mask mandates started coming, but people would come back out and masks were up, and then they're down, and then they're up. We opened that side, and back to that collaborative conversation. We're having beers with another brewer down the street, and he's like, it's going to be like your second grand opening. You guys are going to blow the doors off that place.
Yeah.
His name's Joe, and Joe was right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's got to be a relief. What's it like?
That is a relief.
Yeah. What's it like when you go to a bank to pitch a brewery? I mean, is it like, is there an
Yeah.
advantage because maybe they're having a few drinks and maybe, they get a little,
Right.
loosey-goosey? Does that help? I mean, how do you pitch beer to a bank?
We talked through the business plan
Yeah.
at the time that we had, what we're looking to do at the time. This is 2015, 2016 when craft brewing was really exploding. And what we were aiming to do is what you're kind of seeing here, Robert, where there's brick and there's warmth and there's a feel to it. And this is at kind of the height of the industrial brewery. Like you drive out to the sticks and there's nothing around it. There's just
Right.
beer and a box.
Yeah.
And it was cool as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we were saying we want to do something different. We did get a loan, but it took us 16 banks to get that loan.
Okay. How many beers was that?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of home brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there any of them, listen, we need you to come back next week and talk
right.
to this other
Yeah,
vice president?
yeah,
Just,
yeah.
the beers were that
Yeah.
good. Did any of that, were you ever discouraged about that process?
Hell no.
Okay.
No.
You just very clear-eyed, you knew this was part
Yeah.
of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, and the beer market in Kansas City was so young that it was a lot of untapped potential that banks couldn't even see because it hadn't come to Kansas City yet.
Yeah.
But all you needed to do was point the dial at Denver, even Fort Collins, San Diego, Portland. I mean, you just anywhere across the country where craft beer at that time was, I guess, at its peak,
yeah.
changed dramatically.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
Since then.
120 breweries in Denver, and at the time, there's 3 or 4 here in Kansas City, and 2 of them aren't even around anymore, which is, one tier. That sucks. But everybody's like, we got Boulevard, we're good. I don't think this is going to be a thing. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable how it actually is a thing, though. And I didn't drink alcohol until I was like 22, 23, son of a very conservative minister. And it didn't take me very many beers to realize that there was something different about a microbrew. There was something very different from Budweiser and what happens here. And I try to see art in everything. As I get older, I just see everything as sort of a process. It's a manipulation of, whatever your medium is. And so the chemistry of all of that, how has that been? I mean, what is it like to work your way through a bad beer to a good beer?
Yeah, try not to make the bad beers.
Yeah. I mean, did you just did he just knock it out of the park day one with the first one? Okay.
No. There's iterations. If I want to take it way back, my dad had one of those homebrew kits, and we were 16, me and my buddies, and we'll just make beer. We can't buy it. We'll just go make it. And it was like tomato soup, and only one guy would drink it, and I think he immediately had diarrhea. So there's been plenty of bad beers between there and today, and I'm in my 40s now, so that's fine. But we stand behind wanting to put our best foot forward in beers that we think would represent what we're doing here. So we really don't try to serve bad. If you're having a bad beer here, I hope it just means that you don't like that particular style, because we are not scared to dump beer, and it stings. It doesn't help the bank account at all, but we want to stand up about what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that was a weird pitch, but just I don't know why I was going
That's
that way,
okay.
but it's just like
Everything kind of gets like a go, no go.
yeah, we all do a go no go test on every beer that comes out. So if whoever's here on staff, and usually it's Lara's here, Ethan, you hear him back here right now, and then whoever's behind the bar, like, hey, let's give this a little go no go. So we're pulling samples for everybody. What do you think? How we feeling? Everybody has their separate little moment, and then come back. Yeah. So kind of.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've had anything here that I'm like, that I've been disappointed in. But even if I was, again, the atmosphere here like goes a long way. It's just such an enjoy, and maybe that's that's supposed to be a compliment. If it came across as not, I apologize for that. But so going back to the expansion, so that was going on during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that feel?
Stressful.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I take blood pressure medicine now.
Okay.
So I started during that moment in time, and it is very stressful. There's so much money on the line, and it's there's no safety net, because we don't know when people are going to be able to come back out and how things are going to work out. So but I had people in my family just like, stop, it's not worth having a heart attack over. And you're like, we're so close. We're like so close.
We were already in it.
Yeah. So it's easier to go through it than go around it or under it or stop or something.
Right. It seems, like it's kind of remarkable, though, how many, as I talk to people in the community, how many people like sort of develop, like took the risk. And a lot of it at that period of time you didn't realize you were taking the risk that you were taking, because you had no idea that the world was going to like just shut down the way that it did. And so I guess you were faced with a choice, are you going to proceed or are you going to stop? And so do you have like just this like level of confidence that like, hey, we can get through it? Or is it just like,
optimism?
Optimism.
I don't know that the word is confidence. It's optimism. Well, Lara can use her own word.
Yeah.
Mine would be optimism.
Yeah.
Oh, there's certainly optimism, but I do think just with anybody that goes into small business as a sole operator, if husband wife team or individual, it's going back to when we were even talking about the community here, of just grit. Like, you just have the sense of resiliency of like, it will work out and I will make it work, because there's not really an option for failure. And if in somebody else's mind that it is failure, I guarantee that small business operator would see it as a new opportunity that they're taking advantage of, because that's just what it is. You make it work. I mean, and what we didn't say with both opening our original side, and I think what made blood pressure peak even more during COVID is we had a new baby at the time too. And so you're just like, this has to happen for our family.
Yeah.
So, you're just fully invested in the success of your business and your family, and it's all wrapped together.
Yeah, it's interesting how, I don't know if you're familiar with Stoicism, but, the idea of like your reality, your situation. I mean, it's your reality, it's your situation. Like, you can be frustrated with it or whatever, but it's your reality. It's like, if you're going to do it, this is the time in which you're going to do it. So how has been a married couple as a partners in this? I don't know any other way, I suppose, but like, I mean, how have you guys been able to lean on each other? Is it just because you got to make sure you got to pay the bills? I guess that's a pretty good component.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a pretty compelling way.
That's a thing. And I thought you were going to go a different way with that, Robert, because even people in our family, your dad was talking to me about that not too long ago. He was like, I can't believe you guys are married and work together. Like, no, nobody does that.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it for going on 6 years now. So it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you complement each other?
I try not to brew the beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or design the designs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly, and I don't want to make any judgments, but like you seem to be a little bit more pragmatic just in terms of the vibe. He seems a little bit more like the dreamer, and
Right.
and I think, and again, that's a very similar dynamic to what I have in my life, and so.
If I could do succinctly, I think I would say, although everybody has different qualities and multiple qualities that make up their personality, I'm going to take the more casual one, and sometimes she has the more animal. We call her Lady Tiger.
Yeah.
So she's got the animal.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I can kind of feel that vibe here, and so I've got a couple questions for you here as we start to wind down. The first thing I want to, so were you in Taiwan for a period of time?
Most of my upbringing, yeah.
Do you mind like kind of sharing a little bit about that? Like how does that happen?
Oh, my dad is a career in education. So when I was 2 and my brother was 5, he and my mom moved us overseas. We started in Singapore, and then we were in Cyprus. Then by the time I entered 3rd grade, we were in Taiwan. And I graduated from high school there. So my brother did too.
Okay.
And we just kind of kept going, living the life.
Yeah, there was something I saw, where I heard that, or maybe I read that, and then I didn't have the time to like try to dig into it. So I appreciate you taking the time to answer that. So I've got a handful of questions here. So, not wanting you to put you in a position where you might offend anybody, but I mean, what's the worst beer you've ever had?
I guess mine would have been recent. We were out of town. We were in Phoenix visiting her uncle, and we definitely know how much work goes into making a beer, and how much everything costs, and just the sweat that goes into everything. And so, no matter what, I'll drink a beer.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I can ever remember, and she brought it up to me, that I returned a beer. It was It was tough. It was really, really tough. And
yeah.
And so
did you tell him you were a brewmaster too?
Hell no. I don't say anything. This was just at the brewery. Just you set it down and say, "Oh, that one wasn't hidden. Can I do something else, please?" And so.
So that was at at a brewery.
Yeah, okay. At a brewery,
all right. What about you?
I mean, sure. I've had beers I didn't care for.
Yeah.
I have no problem not finishing a beer if I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever returned it either, but I don't mind leaving it at the table and then ordering what I think I will
that
like.
would speak very loudly. I think if I had a brewery,
it absolutely does.
Yeah.
When like you see somebody leave and they have their half pint, you're like, what?
Wow.
I wish I could ask them what happened there. Did they have to go? Were they full? Were they already having some too many beers? What?
Yeah.
They just don't have a refined palate. You know, I mean, for me, like there was a period of time where I didn't eat Brussels sprouts, but then I like grew up and now I like Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
So
I think what I always wish more people knew about beer is that there's similar nuances to wine. Everybody talks about wine, specifically women. I know, you're kind of leaning into gender stereotypes there, but in general, there will be so many people that say, I don't drink beer, I don't like beer, but forgetting that they don't maybe like Moscato, but they really love a Chardonnay or a drier Sauvignon Blanc or something. The same kind of nuances and differences in styles and flavors and tastes and bitter profiles apply to beer. And so I think that's one of the things that made craft beer so engaging and interesting and continues to this day is because it gives people an opportunity to explore. You do not have to come in and love everything we have on the wall. That's not the requirement, but we do offer a variety because we're hoping that we can find something that you're going to really like and be surprised by.
yeah,
And people don't put that same reverence to beer as they do to wine.
yeah.
And to say that they know that they don't like Cabernet,
Yeah.
but I really love a table wine.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Right. It's interesting. I think that a lot of times people are uncurious. People will sort of be uncurious about things, and I think that food, beer, wine is one of those things where it's like you sort of have to want to try things and understand that for hundreds of years this has been something that has been high value to some people, and maybe you're the one person human that beer just doesn't work for, but I feel like you need to try things to your point. So I was going to say Bush, just straight up Bush beer is just I can't handle it. Okay. So what would be your guilty pleasure beer? Like something that if somebody was like, Laura likes that?
I'll just jump in. I don't know that I have one. I really subscribe to kind of what you were saying. Scientists know that humans have been brewing beer for over 13,000 years now. So if it has the last name beer, I'm probably into it.
Okay, well, mine's Milwaukee Best.
Okay.
Milwaukee's Best.
Okay.
When I was in a band in the 90s, that we would show up, there'd be a case of the Beast, and it was and so now if I'm someplace and there's some available, it sort of takes me right back, and it's like, oh man, I could have been a rock star. I should have just kept drinking the Beast. It's when I refined my palate where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
So
I think mine would probably be Miller Lite.
Okay.
I think going back to when we were talking about third places, in particular, it's about the people that I have had experiences with, and it's been really enjoyable with Miller Lite. I mean, I can think back to being a camp counselor in northern Wisconsin, and you get a day off or a night off, and you get to go up, and you've got the these buckets of Miller Lite coming out, and you're sharing them in the North Woods. It's just, there's nothing like it. Or we were on the East Coast with my cousin Ben at a tiny crab shack, newspaper on the tables and little wooden mallets, and they bring out a bucket of Miller Lite, and it's just the best. It just sings when it all is together.
See, I love that answer, and I think it's a more authentic answer. I forgot he's been brewing beer since 16, right? And but I can completely appreciate that vibe, and actually Rumpelmans can sort of do that, the same thing in the right environment. Okay, and so then the last question here for you. So we're in Kansas City. You guys have been here for a while. Barbecue, which is what we're known for, or street tacos, which I think that's what we do best here. But your thoughts?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you had to take, and I don't want to, influence you with my opinion, but it's well known at this point. Preference: barbecue or street
I gotta
tacos?
listen to this more. Okay. I want to know about these street taco places.
Yeah. We don't, I'm not going to speak for you, but I would say we only eat barbecue if we have people visiting from out of town.
Yeah, that seems like that's sort of a thing.
It's just not at the top of we're going out to eat, where are we going? Barbecue. No. But
Right.
it doesn't really sing with us.
Right. Okay.
But I would agree. I'd love to know where your best finds for street tacos are.
I think they're all over the city. It's really sort of remarkable, and it's one of those things that I discovered once I got out of the car business, and I can actually sort of go around the city.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So then, but it's a barbecue. It does have a very let's go to Union Station vibe to it when people show up, or Crown Center. That's a good example of it. So
And there's nothing wrong with that.
no.
There's so many good spots. Don't throw us under the bus with this.
No, I'm not. I mean, listen. So I think we've got 48 subscribers. So it's we'll see what happens. But it's all wonderful. And so, okay, Casual Animal, you guys are here in the Crossroads. If I wanted to do more research on you, would I go to Instagram? How would I find out more about Casual Animal?
We'd love you to come down and experience it.
Right.
We have so many plants. The oxygen in here gets you feeling good.
Yeah.
And then the beers help.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But how could we learn more about Casual Animal?
Come live it. Certainly. You can find us on Instagram at Casual Animal Brewing, our website, casualanimalbrewing.com. But nothing beats the personal experience that you can find here. Kyle and I are here every day.
Yeah.
On weekends, our children are here in the morning helping us open, and we just care so much about it and sharing it with the community.
Yeah.
And that's why we've built the community into our space as much as we've built a space for community.